On a quiet morning in the rural town of Willow Creek, Oregon, a horrifying massacre shattered the peace. A killer took the lives of 3 people, driven by a forbidden love turned deadly obsession. A young mother was stabbed repeatedly in the face, chest, and even her private areas. Wounds not just meant to kill, but to humiliate, to vent a twisted rage. When a broken heart morphed into a deranged mind, a savage murder became the price this family paid. Who was the culprit, and what justice would he face? Let's unravel this chilling case. That morning in Willow Creek, the air outside Mrs. Eleanor Hart's 2-story home was calm as usual. Neighbors gathered near her front gate, chatting casually about their plans to play cards, a routine they followed most days. By 7:30 a.m., they'd typically trickle in, knowing the 70-year-old widow liked to rise early, sweep the porch, or stroll along the dirt path near the eastern fields. But today, something felt off. The gate remained shut, the house silent, no sign of life. A middle-aged woman peeked through a gap in the fence and muttered, "She's usually got the table set up by now. No movement today." Another chimed in. Strange. Lydia Brooks, her daughter-in-law, is always up early cooking too, but it's dead quiet. They glanced at their watches. Nearly 8 a.m. The sun climbed higher, casting light across the road into town. Mr. Henry Dawson, a 65-year-old neighbor, squinted at the house, mumbling, "Last night, Eleanor told me to come early for some homemade cornbread. Did something happen?" Someone speculated they might have left the night before without telling anyone, but others shook their heads. Eleanor rarely went far without planning ahead. Unease crept in as minutes ticked by with no one emerging. A few tried the gate. It wasn't locked from the outside, just latched within. They called out for Eleanor, Lydia, and Tommy Brooks, Lydia's grade school son, but silence answered. Henry insisted on staying, while others began to drift away, assuming the family was just busy. Then, a phone rang inside the house, its shrill tone cutting through the stillness. It went on, unanswered. Henry's skin prickled. An ominous feeling took hold. Trembling, he pushed the gate again. This time, it gave way, creaking open as if barely secured. 2 neighbors followed as he stepped into the empty yard. Henry took a deep breath and hurried to the front door. It was ajar, unlocked. A chill hit him as he called, "Eleanor, you home?" No response. Fear surged, but he pressed forward into the spacious living room. Sunlight streaming through the blinds. He froze. Dark brown stains marred the tile floor, blood partially dried. A few steps further and he saw them. 2 bodies sprawled lifelessly. It was Lydia Brooks and her son, Tommy. Lydia lay on her back, clothes disheveled, arms outstretched as if she fought to the end. Tommy was face down, his shirt soaked in blood. The silence was suffocating. Henry stumbled back, shouting in panic, and bolted outside. A burly young neighbor, Jake Miller, rushed in after hearing the commotion. He checked their pulses but recoiled, shaking his head. They were gone. Word spread fast among the onlookers, who froze in terror, too afraid to step inside. Someone dialed the authorities, voice shaking. "Police, please! There's a murder at Eleanor Hart's house in Willow Creek." Within 15 minutes, local deputies and Ashland County detectives arrived, sirens blaring, lights flashing red. They cordoned off the area, pushing the growing crowd back to preserve the scene. Officers in uniform entered, faces grim. Whispers rippled through the neighbors. How could this happen overnight with no one hearing a thing? Inside, an investigator examined the bodies in the living room, eyes narrowing at the blood splattered across Lydia's form. A brutal attack. Tommy, just a kid, hadn't escaped the savagery either. But where was Eleanor? She was still unaccounted for. The team split up to search. The kitchen was a mess. Drawers yanked open, items scattered, but empty. Upstairs yielded only old clothes, no hiding spots. Then a photographer noticed a side door to a guest bedroom, overlooked in the initial sweep. He pushed it open, flashlight piercing the dimness. There on the bed lay an elderly figure, motionless. It was Eleanor Hart, dead from a deep chest wound. The room was eerily tidy, save for the blood pooled around her torso. An officer signaled outside. 3 victims confirmed. This wasn't just a murder, it was a slaughter. To secure every clue, police ordered residents to steer clear, giving forensic experts space to work. Henry Dawson, still reeling from the discovery, was pulled aside for a statement. "I came because Eleanor invited me for cards," he stammered. "I called out, got no answer, and thought something was wrong. I never imagined they'd all be dead." An investigator pressed. "Did you see anyone around beforehand?" Henry shook his head. "No. The gate was shut this morning, but I slept early last night, didn't hear a thing." Meanwhile, Jake Miller recounted his brief check. "I ran in after Henry yelled, saw the two bodies in the living room, tried their wrists, but nothing. I was too scared to touch anything else, though the wooden cabinet was wide open. Clothes everywhere. Detectives marked bloodstains, footprints, and a broken-handled knife under the sofa, its blade stained red. A cracked cell phone lay near Tommy, suggesting a desperate attempt to call for help. Drag marks on the floor hinted the bodies had been moved. The metallic stench of blood hung heavy, turning stomachs. A seasoned officer mused, "All three killed in one night, likely between midnight and dawn." Another nodded, "This is rare. We need to escalate this fast." They radioed headquarters, debating next steps. Outside, townsfolk murmured, "They were good people, no enemies. Why this?" An elderly woman, voice quaking, said, "Lydia lost her husband years ago, raised two kids alone. Her daughter, Clara Brooks, works out of town. Eleanor was kind. How could this happen?" As the initial lockdown ended, medics arrived to transport the bodies for autopsy. The investigation kicked off in earnest. Early observations suggested the killer entered without forcing the outer gate, perhaps through another route. The ferocity of the attack ruled out simple robbery. No thief would be this vicious. In the kitchen, an open fridge revealed scattered cookies and an empty milk carton. Had the killer lingered to eat? Near Eleanor's bed, the lack of struggle implied she'd been struck in her sleep. Lydia and Tommy, though, had fought back before succumbing in the living room. A frantic woman pushed forward, face pale. "Has anyone told Clara?" The crowd realized Lydia's eldest, working in Portland, likely hadn't heard. She usually returned weekends, meaning she'd been absent during the carnage. Police halted further intrusions, urging calm, but knew they'd need to reach her soon. By 9 a.m., the crowd thinned, key witnesses summoned to the station. No one could pinpoint a suspect. Eleanor's family seemed conflict-free. An investigator flipped his notebook. "We'll dig into their relationships, any debts, grudges, anything." In the living room, a damp, blood-stained rag caught their eye. Had the killer tried to clean up, only to abandon the effort? The calm after such brutality hinted at a chilling composure. By 10 a.m., the area was fully sealed, bodies removed, leaving an eerie hush. Residents watched, stunned. This peaceful town had never seen such horror. Clara Brooks arrived by noon, summoned by a neighbor's call. Her face crumpled as police intercepted her, guiding her away from the scene to a community hall for questioning. "I got a call saying something happened to Mom and Tommy," she choked out. "I didn't think it'd be this." The lead detective, voice gentle, asked, "Any recent family disputes?" Clara shook her head. Mom never mentioned trouble. Eleanor stayed home mostly, and Tommy was just a kid, quiet, good. She paused and added, "Mom did say the house was normal a few days ago, planning Tommy's middle school next year." The detective shifted gears. "Any frequent visitors?" Clara hesitated. "Not sure. Mom had a complicated friend, but I don't know much." That detail piqued interest. A potential lead. They pressed, but Clara, away most of the time, couldn't elaborate. She broke down, sobbing, "I can't believe someone killed my whole family." Detectives reassured her they'd investigate every angle, urging her to stay with relatives for now. Outside, a team scoured the yard, finding scuff marks on a backyard tree and a cut window bar near Eleanor's room, likely the entry point. A thin rope lay discarded on the roof, suggesting a calculated break-in. 2 blood-soaked bandages in the living room tested positive for a different blood type than the victims, possibly the killer's. "If he's hurt, we might catch him at a clinic," an officer suggested. The chief nodded. Check every hospital, urgent care, and pharmacy nearby for anyone treated last night or this morning. As teams fanned out, Clara revealed more. Mom got a big settlement after Dad died in a mining accident. She withdrew some lately, maybe for repairs. Could someone have known? Theories swirled. Robbery gone wrong or something personal. By afternoon, the bodies reached the morgue for detailed autopsies. Preliminary findings confirmed brutality. Lydia took the worst, with multiple chest and pelvic stabs. Tommy died from back wounds, one severing an artery. Eleanor had a single, fatal chest strike, likely asleep. The killer had struck fast and hard, leaving no chance for screams to escape the insulated house. Days later, the investigation intensified. Clara mentioned a man her mother knew, Victor Grayson, a 45-year-old from Cedar Hollow, 5 miles away. He'd visit on his motorcycle, brought groceries once. I didn't like him. His vibe fell off with Tommy and Eleanor. She added, Mom said he was married but separating, planning to marry her. Eleanor disapproved and Tommy hated him. Detectives tracked Victor down, hauling him in. He denied involvement, claiming he'd only helped Lydia financially and left his jacket at her place the night before the murders around 9 p.m. DNA from semen on Lydia matched Victor, confirming intimacy that night. But his wife vouched he'd been home by 9:30 p.m. His blood didn't match the scene's unknown sample, leaving his alibi shaky but unprovable. Meanwhile, a hospital camera showed a young man with glasses, bandaging wounds around 2 a.m., too young to be Victor. Focus shifted. Clara then dropped a bombshell. She'd dated a guy, Ethan Carter, in San Diego, breaking up months earlier. He was 24, quiet, wore glasses. I ended it when Mom and Eleanor said he wasn't right for me. Photos of Ethan matched the hospital figure. The hunt zeroed in. Records showed a Mark Evans renting a motel room in Ashland County that night, leaving at 3 a.m. Descriptions aligned. Thin glasses, southern accent. Cameras caught a scooter with a cardboard box. Tools inside? Entering Willow Creek near midnight, fleeing by 4 a.m. On May 20th, police nabbed a limping suspect in Lane County. Ethan Carter, alias Mark Evans. His DNA matched the scene's blood. Cornered, he confessed. Ethan had stalked Clara after their breakup, blaming her family for ruining his life. He'd traveled from San Diego to Oregon, bought a scooter, and planned the attack. He climbed into Eleanor's room, stabbed her sleeping, then ambushed Lydia and Tommy when they woke. His rage exploded on Lydia, fueled by rejection. Injured in the struggle, he fled, got patched up, and ran until caught. Coldly, he admitted, I hated them for taking Clara. I wanted them gone. His trial was swift. For the savage murder of 3, including a child and elder, Ethan Carter got the death penalty. Justice closed the case. But Willow Creek and Clara bore scars that wouldn't fade. A tale of love twisted into vengeance ended in a killer's doom.